Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. We're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Oh. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got director Louise Alston with me. So welcome, Louise.
Hi. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're so gracious. It's like 4:00 in the morning your time, and you're ready to go, which just amazes me. If the reverse were the case, if we were doing this 4:00 my time, it would not be as good. Not be as good.
Well, I was saying before, I've got a coffee shop that's open 24 hours.
I'm a little jealous.
Just a couple of doors down, and it's dangerous to have 24-hour coffee available.
Yeah, agree. That I'm a little jealous. We've got that set up where we've got like a Keurig sitting next to an espresso machine sitting next to like a Mr. Coffee. So we do whatever you want there. We can do it at the house, but it still tastes better when somebody else makes it.
Yeah, and my dad is a farmer, right? Now he collects these. So when he makes his home coffee, he puts it in these, and he goes to work in the field feeling like he's got a coffee from a cafe. It's all in the mind. He feels special if he has it in one of these coffee cups.
I love that. Is it just land, or does he raise animals as well?
Yeah, he's got horses.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So as he gets older, he's only doing the stuff he really likes, and he really likes horses.
As he should. Do you ride?
I used to when I was little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I could probably stay on. I can probably still stay on a horse.
I love horses. I've only been on them once or twice, and it's like the first time you're on a horse, it's a little scary. It's
the rhythm. You gotta know what your animal's doing, and
and you got to be assertive. With most horses, you can't just kind of let them do what they want, because they will.
It's true. And I think because I learned how to ride when I was 8 years old.
Hmm.
You know, I didn't know any better but to think I was a bossy boots on a horse. So, you know.
Well, that's the time. You're invincible at that age. At least you think so.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Louise, let's start this way. Tell me a little bit about what got you into the entertainment business. That's a difficult business. What made you want to go into that?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you know, being a farm girl, I was a
Yeah,
long way from anywhere. And I'm not one of these nepo babies, but but um not that there's anything wrong with that,
that's right.
but I am
However
but I
you can get
absolutely
in there.
exactly, you know, it's a family business like anything else. But I guess like I said, I was 8 and I was the oldest of 4 children, and I was a bossy boots, and I had all the best ideas and I could make them all do it. So if anybody ever asked me, what's the best thing in my training to be a director, I say being an older sister.
Yeah, I believe that. And
So,
I grew up around older cousins. I was
ah,
the oldest in my family. It's just me and my brother. Uh,
yeah,
but I had older cousins, and they would constantly force me to perform in some type of play that they wanted to put on.
there
And
you go.
the only thing they couldn't get me to speak. I was very shy when I was younger, but they'd always,
Yeah,
so I'd always be like the shepherd or whatever the non-speaking part was. But yeah, I totally get that because usually the oldest, and my granddaughter's the same way. She bosses all the other boys
mhm.
and around. Is they tend to kind of dictate what you're going to do, and you just go along with it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It's great training being an older sibling.
Well, and I could see that too because you got to do some wrangling when you're younger
It's
like
true.
that to get other kids to do what you want. I mean, that's not easy. If you can do that, you could probably direct.
It's true. Oh, no, I put this on thinking that I would look good, but now I'm really hot, so I'm going to take it off. But you know, it's true, and I got into, like, you know, doing theater and stuff, and you know, some film snobs will tell you that theater is not film and film is not theater, but you know, if you've been in like a 2 week play or a 3 week play, and you you have to be with this team, this creative team, and over this long period, and you get to know what actors need, and you get to know the creative flow and the collaboration and all those skills. It's there's so many things that you can learn from theater that you bring across to film.
Yeah.
And then add to that, I would get piles of, you know, when you could get like 10 DVDs for $10 at
Oh,
the
of
local
course.
blockbuster.
Yeah.
And I would do that every week, and I would watch them all. And at the time I thought I was wasting my time, but I was actually learning about film. So there you go. And then when I was in college, I was asked by a theatre friend to help on a low budget film. And as soon as I stepped onto set, I just went, this is it.
Felt like
This
home.
is it. Yeah, this is the teamwork, this is the creativity, this is the storytelling. It was all my things all rolled into one. And I couldn't believe that you could actually make movies. And so yeah, I was hooked
I
from
mean,
then on.
yeah, that's pretty great, especially at a young age to kind of figure that
Mm.
out. I mean, did you ever think about, the acting side of it, or was it always behind the camera that you were interested in?
Yeah, I did think about acting, but well, interesting. This is becoming a confessional now. I was run over when
Oh,
I was when I was
goodness.
24, and you know, I thought I'm gonna like, you know, keep doing these like co-op plays, and you know, everyone gets together and puts on plays through their 20s. But I got run over. And so I had to learn how to walk again and all that sort of thing. And my lovely boyfriend who I'd met in film school, stuck by me, never left my side. And I was in hospital and I looked at my mom and I said, I'm going to have to marry this one. And she said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. But yeah, it was that kind of stopped me in my tracks. But it did focus me
Yeah.
because my husband was a writer. So I would lay in bed recovering with 2 broken legs, and I would read his scripts, and he sort of had some screenplays. I said, let's turn these into theatre plays. So we
Yes.
put on a whole series of plays from his film scripts, and people started to get interested, sort of, asking, well, this could be a movie. I said, funny you should say that. So that process led me to doing my first film, All My Friends Are Leaving Brisbane, which was the first play that my husband wrote. So
I
yeah.
love that you guys work together. That's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can't beat, I think, having that support at home, especially if you're in the same industry, because you can kind of help each other. Especially if
Yeah.
you're willing to be really honest with each other, and can tell, hey, okay, that one's not very good, or maybe you need to change
It's
this.
true.
It can really be a help.
Yeah, those Nepo babies know something. But
Right. That's exactly right.
exactly. And also you notice that siblings make good directing partners.
Ooh, yeah.
There's often like brother and sister teams. And I think that that's because that you can go through the fire, but you're always going to be tight with your sibling.
I've
So
actually interviewed several brother and
yeah,
sister director teams. And
there you go.
and yeah, and which kind of surprised me at first, but it kind of makes sense because you've got somebody there that you're
Mm,
completely comfortable with, you trust them.
yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times you need that, as a
Mm,
director, sometimes you can kind of be on an island and you got all this stuff going on. You need somebody there that you can just count on to handle stuff where, if anything slips through your cracks, they've got it, and vice versa.
exactly. And there's nothing like a sibling to say, no, that's stupid.
Right. Yeah, because you're going to listen to them without getting overly defensive.
Exactly. And you'll be able to tell them the truth, tell someone
Yeah.
who's your sibling the truth without feeling like you have to like couch anything. Like like you can look someone in the eye and say, that's a really dumb idea. You're being stupid. and and it's not going to wreck the relationship, because that's just the honesty that you have with your
That's
siblings.
right. Yeah, it's actually a benefit. So
Yeah.
did
Oh,
your accident
yes.
did it focus you as far as career goals? Did it
It did.
motivate you to get moving a little quicker, or was it basically just recover and get back to work?
Well, it was a long recovery,
Yeah.
about 5 years in my 20s, which is big, but
It's a lot.
it
Yeah.
did it did mean that all of a sudden time was precious,
Yeah.
and if my life was going to be saved, then I had to make it worth something.
Yeah.
So I kind of, in a lot of ways, I try and make my projects a force for good, in whatever way that means. Like, I
Yeah.
do think that it's important to, like, develop people and bring people into the fold, um and help people really have a creative experience that's positive. And it's just, like, creating that sense of creative flow on set is so
Yeah.
important. And nobody does this because they want to have a horrible job. They do it because they want to
That's
have a
right.
cool job. So
Yeah,
So
nobody goes into it going, "Oh, this is going to be terrible," but okay, I'll do it.
yeah. Well, sometimes they do, but nobody decides to be an actor or to work on film and to take on this very um shaky career because it's really hard and horrible. They do it because there's a chance to do wonderful creative work and have that feeling of euphoria of making something that's really special. So if I can help people make a team get to that point, then that's the reason for the job. So
Yeah, I actually kind of love that.
hmm,
Yeah, you're
so,
putting some positivity out there into the universe.
yeah, and I'm not conceited enough to think that I am the I'm the be all and end all, and my ideas really are the best. I'm more grown up than that now, but I think that like just being able to recognize, like I feel like making a film is like driving a truck downhill. You've just got to keep it on course, and so um as you like keeping it down on course, if somebody gives you ideas, you know, you just sort of bring it into the course, into
Yeah.
the direction you're going. And if someone will make you an offer and you go, oh my God, that is great, this will work. And if you can like keep that direction in mind and keep it all on track, um, and you have that skill, you have that confidence, you are able to interact with people and bring on their ideas and have collaboration. So that's a skill that you learn after doing it a lot. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that makes sense because the danger there is that it gets away from you and then you're just
yeah,
barreling downhill.
yeah. You can lose the day, you can be end up doing a scene in two shots. But
Yeah,
but then you learn, I know how to make two shots, three shots.
that's
And
right.
there's so many get out of jail free cards in this business. As long as you keep in mind you got to get the truck down the hill safely, and then
Yeah.
that's
Well, and it
that's your
helps too as you build a resume, you get a little more leeway as your experience goes along,
yeah.
because people have more confidence that you have it under control so they don't freak out as much when there's a little issue.
It's true, but when you're a younger woman, so it's sometimes it's hard to get people to trust you.
Yeah.
Like you have to sort of really show people beyond a doubt. And there's been a couple of films where people have producers have been very nervous about hiring me and have spent more time on set than they thought they would have to. But then after a few days, they know that I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it is
actually I
showing
do know
people.
what you mean. It's in some ways it can be a little frustrating because maybe they don't do that if it's a guy director. And
Hmm.
that's not the way we should be. It should all be based on talent and the
It is what
abilities
it
of the
is.
person. But I've seen enough of it with my wife and her kind of battling her way through her career, kind of
Mhm.
bumping up against the glass ceiling. As a guy, I never thought much about it, but
Hmm.
watching her and her career, I've seen it. I've seen the frustrations and the unfairness and all of that. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully we're moving away from that. It's moving way too slow, but
Hopefully.
hopefully we're moving
Hopefully.
toward a more
And thank
equal
you for
play.
recognizing that. I appreciate that. There's
Yeah.
too many guys who go, no, that's not right. But it is not right. But like, thank you for noticing.
Yeah. Well, and I'm the first to admit I didn't always notice, kind of
Mhm.
stuck in my own lane, working on my own stuff, not worrying about it.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting there looking at it, it's not fair. Everybody just wants an even playing field. That's it. Yeah.
And you know what is great, given that there are recognizable ups and downs in this business, Lifetime movies is where you find the 40 something women.
Yeah.
and they're the number one on the call sheet, and they're the ones watching. They're the ones. It's all around the woman in peril, and that's very exciting. And in my film, he had 7 wives. I had lots of women, lots of women on set. So it made for a really great experience. It was
Yeah, that
very
had to be fun.
yeah, it was really positive. And for me it was like, okay, he had 7 wives. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna treat this like the Magnificent Seven. You know, in the Magnificent Seven, there's like seven
One of my
different
favorite
cowboys.
movies.
Yeah, there's 7 different cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, this time I made it 7 different wives. So we had
Part of
Maggie
the
at the center.
you always hear about the guy that's got the other family. He's got a second family. You don't hear about him having 7 different, families or wives.
Mhm.
That seems kind of crazy. That sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Well, apparently this is based on a true story. I still haven't
Really?
found the yet. Yeah. But then but then when we went to this lovely small town in Georgia where we were like where we were gonna shoot. And I'm meeting all these lovely house proud ladies with their houses saying, would you like to shoot in this house? And I was like, oh my God, this is another
There's
beautiful
some
house.
beautiful homes
And
in Georgia for sure.
oh, so lovely. And I explained it's called He Had 7 Wives. Well, it's now called My Husband's 7 Wives. And they would all go, "Oh, I know something like that happened 2 towns over." Everybody feels like they've heard this story. But isn't that perfect for a Lifetime film? It's got
Yeah.
to be something that's a recognizable fit. So, so
I
that's
think
what
those films, they do so well because one, Lifetime's kind of figured out, Hallmark's done that a little bit too, that it's not just having like a sensational story. It has to be well written to get people
Mhm.
to watch with that. And
Yeah.
I think Lifetime does a really good job that they're putting out, yeah, they've got the titles that are going to catch your attention, but they're actually
Yeah.
really well written and the acting in them is good. Like you can sit down and it's like a couple-hour escape. Yeah, you can just kind
Mm,
of dive in, let everything else go, and just enjoy yourself.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And um there's something about that crime thing. Like, you know how women are so into podcasts, like
Yeah.
true crime
Yeah.
podcasts. Everyone's going, why are women so into this? It's like,
Yeah.
well, have you seen Lifetime? There's a
Yeah.
lot of like women in peril, and that's great. It's like it's the beginning, middle, and end, and there's good wins in the end. There's
Well,
always
that's it.
like,
You're getting to see, like, if that situation happened, you're getting to see like a happy ending to it most of the
it's
time,
true. Yeah, yeah.
which is
It's
kind of the
cathartic.
payoff. You're like, I'm gonna watch this, but it's going to end well, so you're not as anxious as maybe you would be if you didn't know it was going to turn out okay.
Oh yeah, you know you're safe in the story.
That's right. That's right.
The story is going to be well worked out. There's going to be setup, payoff. That's the satisfying thing about watching Lifetime films, and it's the Hollywood tradition, really.
Yeah, it really is. Like it reminds me a lot of growing up, they would do the like Saturday night movies, the networks would
Yeah,
put those on,
yeah,
and it was kind of a big deal because you didn't have any streamers. So a movie night on a network, it was kind of a big deal.
yeah, yeah. Movies of the week.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And now that's kind of, Lifetime, Hallmark too. They've kind of taken that and turned it into a whole industry.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Did you have to, or were you involved in the casting for the film?
Well, often the network will want to have a say
Yeah.
in main characters, but I get very involved in the smaller roles.
Oh,
So I like to watch every audition tape And you know what I love when I'm looking at actors for whatever role. I love it when I see theatre on people's resumes, and I love it when I see soap opera. If
Why is
someone's
that? I suspect I know why that is, but why is that?
well, I know that they can work, that they can hit those emotional moments, and they're gonna sell it. They're gonna go there emotionally. You work with these actors who've been doing these Lifetime movies for ages, and give them 10 minutes and they will be in tears.
Yeah.
They can really act, and they've got so much depth that they can get to in these like melodramatic roles that are very emotional, and the stories have always got this like crisis point. So
Yeah.
they've really got to work that muscle and take us there. So I love soap opera actors. Like
When they
like
also they're able to like they can learn a lot of lines in a very short amount of time.
yeah, and they're such hard workers.
Yeah.
Like some of the biggest stars in the world are soap opera actors. Like Margot Robbie started on an
Yeah.
Australian soap opera. So she was on Neighbours for 3 years. So she can get a script, and she can
Did
totally
you do
go
some
there.
directing on Neighbors?
I did. I
Yeah, I
did.
thought
I
you
actually
did.
trained there. I trained there. I was lucky enough to get to be on set watching a whole lot of people. Margot wasn't there at the time,
Yeah.
but people said, oh yeah, Margot. She would come on set. She would know all of her lines. She would know everybody else's lines as well. So people were. I was there in 2013, 14,
Yeah.
and people were still talking about how great she was. So
Well,
yeah,
I mean, there's a reason certain people are stars.
yes,
Like early
yes,
on, you can kind of tell, okay, that person's probably going to get somewhere. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, it's like we can recognize great acting.
yeah,
There's a lot of good
yeah.
actors out there, but great acting and kind of that star quality, not too many people have it. So I think most
It's
people recognize it
true.
when they see it.
It's true. Do you know Sarah Snook, who's in
Yes.
Succession?
Yeah, of course.
I was doing like a workshop where I was
Yeah.
like doing a thing where there was a few directors, and we were doing a scene from a film that we were developing at the time. And so I had an actor booked, and I rang up to confirm this actor, and they went, oh no, they've got a job. I went, oh, I thought I gave them a job. No, they had a better job. But then the person said, oh, listen, but I've got somebody right here in the office who would be so good. She's just amazing, just come out of drama school,
Yeah.
and this would be her first job. And so she came, and I gave her first job, and
Really?
I was, and she did this little scene, and I was just like, jaw drop, jaw drop. She
Yeah.
was that
She's
presence,
an
and
amazing
those
actress.
eyes, and the look, and it was amazing. And I was talking to people afterwards, and they were saying, well, what did you think of her? Cast her in a minute,
Yeah.
so she just claimed the story
Well, and she does
completely.
the like she can give a lot without saying anything.
Yes,
Yeah, she's
just a
really good with the
smolder.
nuances.
Yeah, the smolder in her face. It was
Yeah.
just all there, all there. And you know often when you've got a script and you're editing the script, you will cut whole lines because just a look says everything that you need. It's
Yeah.
like you don't need them to then go on and say something. The look is all you need. So that happens a lot.
Yeah, and I totally believe that with that,
Mm.
because it's if it's done correctly, I think it's more powerful without the vocal, just the
Yeah.
look or something, because that's how life is. Most of the time, when you're shocked or upset or something, you're not saying anything, you just look shocked.
Yeah, yeah. Like the line might be, I've got you, I'll look after you, I'll get you out of here. And all it needs to be is, it's a confident, I've got you look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that sort of thing. And I love it when actors are playing either a husband and wife situation, or maybe a brother and sister, or a sibling, family, something like that, and they're able to make you believe that they're actually family or actually married. And a lot of
Yeah.
that, I think, has to do with those little looks that you give to a spouse or to a family member and stuff, where whatever it is, but it's kind of like a secret between you. But as an audience,
Yeah.
you may not know exactly what they're passing between the look, but they're passing something. And I
Yeah,
always
right.
love it when
Right.
you can, when it seems believable that somebody has a connection. That's great acting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it could also be
Yeah.
a great script. The writing needs to be good.
Of course it does. Of course it does. But yeah, how about that Succession and that all those brothers
Oh
and
my gosh.
sisters,
That
sister,
show,
all around.
that show was
Oh,
stressful to watch. So good.
I had to take a break after every episode,
Oh,
you
me
know?
too. Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't, it was difficult to binge watch that show
Mm,
because it just episode to episode, just wear you out.
mm.
Emotional ringer.
Anyway, but that's part of why we love films like Lifetime films.
Yeah.
You want to get into that emotional ringer and have that emotional catharsis.
Yeah. That's
So,
it. Yeah.
mm,
So that at the end of it, yeah, you've kind of had that kind of release and
mm,
you feel almost a little more relaxed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Has My Husband's Seven Wives, it's already aired, I think, but I'm assuming they'll re-show it. Is that?
Yeah, yeah. It's on Lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So on the main channel. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I'm
should be able to
sure.
get it on demand, I would assume, and then
Yeah,
they'll re-show it several times, I'm guessing, over the next month or so.
absolutely. And there's some really great actors there. I really rate them.
I
So
know my wife is super excited to sit down and watch it. Like, she's already planned it out. She's got her little meat and cheese tray, and she's going to paint. She loves to
perfect.
paint while she's watching that stuff. So she's going to paint and watch. So she won't need me. I'll probably be doing
Yeah,
something.
right.
She'll have her evening.
Yeah, a bit of
Oh
a
yeah,
wine
definitely have some.
something.
She's like red wine. She likes a good cab, so she'll probably
Yeah,
have.
good, good,
Yeah.
good, good, good.
Yeah. So the kids, my kids are all grown now, but back when they were all in the house, we
Mm-hmm.
watched Back of the Net.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, oh yeah, and they love that movie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen it several times with that. So
That is so nice. Oh my God, that movie had in the business, they call it a long tail, which means it's like people keep watching it.
yeah, it's
Like
got staying
it feels
power.
like, yeah, staying power. And wow, I still get the odd email from people like South American kids who are big soccer fans, like saying, "Oh, you should make a sequel."
It's a
And
really
in
good
broken
soccer
English.
sports movie.
Oh, thank you. And oh wow, I got the nicest fan letter from a man who said that his little boy watched it every day.
I
Like,
love that.
you know how some kids watch like Frozen or
Oh
like
yeah.
Encanto or whatever the latest Disney is, and they watch it over and over again. They watch my film over and over
Must have
again.
been a soccer fan.
It was so nice.
Well, it's a good movie. It's believable. It's positive. If you're a younger and you're a sports
Mm.
fan or especially a soccer fan, it's a great movie.
Oh yeah, so great. And those actors are really great as
Yeah.
well. And um the challenge was you've got to get actors to look like they can play soccer.
Right.
So I cast dancers,
Oh, that's smart.
all these teenage dancers, and they were really, like very fit. They could run and they
Yeah.
could kick butt. they will kick with pointed toes. So I had to go through and just cut it just before they pointed their toe at the end of it.
Well, it's a dancer in them. But they're very graceful, so I could totally see that to use as soccer players.
Yeah. And Sophia Wiley, who's the lead of that film, she is such an amazing dancer. A triple threat, as they say, like
pretty good actress.
Really, really great. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of love that. I'm going to have to tell my daughter that. She was a dancer all through school growing up and stuff. She'll love that because she loved that movie. But I know she didn't know that those were dancers she was watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll love that. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. And
the other kids in the ones who weren't the speaking actors, they were all like very like representative state soccer players, and it was so good. So if you watch, like, there's some really tense moments where the camera goes across all the actors and it goes across these athletes, and the athletes are just going, and it's like, go, they know the emotion. They were just going right there to what that felt like. And they were like telling the truth on their faces. It was just so perfect. It was like, go girls. So yeah, it was a lovely ensemble altogether.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and it's a Disney movie. So now you have this tie to Disney, which never hurts.
It's very nice. It's very nice. And I grew up watching like Disney originals, Disney movies. And when this film became a Disney original, I was just like, oh my God. And the little girl inside me just went, what?
I'm so old that the Disney originals I was watching were like Kurt Russell when he was a boy.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I watched them too, of course, because they were all in repeat,
Yeah.
And you've got like, didn't they have like Black Beauty and things like that?
Oh yeah.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and
used to love it. They used to have they had a drive-in theater that was just like a mile or two from our house, and every weekend they would show a double feature of Disney movies. So they'd have like a cartoon movie first and then a regular Disney movie second. And we'd go all the time. And that's the type of stuff you'd see. So the second movie would be like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or Apple Dumpling Gang or, something along those lines. Used to love those with that. And that, So I kind of grew up with that. I mean, there's something to be said about just a good movie that doesn't have anything bad in it. There's nothing in there that the kid is going to pick up and try to imitate that's a negative with that.
It's true.
It has a good ending. It's just an enjoyable time for the whole family. So you can do the whole family movie. So I always love that. And that's one thing I think Disney gets right is they do family entertainment probably better than anybody.
It's true. It's true. The best brand in the world.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm guessing that if you put brands out there, Disney would be the most recognizable. Everybody knows Disney.
Yeah. And now Disney is Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars, Marvel. It's got all the superheroes. It's got Star Wars. I know they just keep getting bigger, and we're probably going to see more of that going forward. I'm guessing that over time, some of these streamers will probably combine it at some point.
Yeah.
Well, now I heard the other day that all the sports channels were combining into an app. So you have like ESPN and Fox Sports, all that will be on one app. I'm like, I was like, isn't that just cable?
I know. And now the streamers have this crazy idea that you don't pay, you don't subscribe, but you watch advertisements.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought?
I know. Who would have thought? I know. It's crazy.
Commercials.
We've come a long way from just a 3-station dial TV that we're turning.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Pretty good. Pretty well, Louise. Thank you so much for taking a little time. This has been terrific. I've been looking forward to talking with you. I think you're really talented as a director, and it's fun that you're starting to get a lot of stuff that we're seeing here in the States. That's pretty awesome.
Great. Well, yeah, I usually live in the States. I'm here visiting. Well, I was at the Australian Academy Awards, and so yeah. But
Yeah.
usually I'm in Los Angeles.
Were you nominated for anything?
I was not. I was
Terrible.
not. I
Have
mean,
they seen My Husband's Seven Wives yet?
they haven't seen My Husband's Seven Wives
Okay.
yet, so
So maybe for next year.
yeah, maybe. And like, it just would have been me up against Margot Robbie. It's her year. It's her year.
It's her year. We'll let her have this one.
Yeah.
So, okay, Louise, a couple of things before we wrap up. Anything else that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, at the moment I've got I'm just in that development stage, the financing stage really. So I've got a very exciting rom-com that I'm working on, and also a kidnap thriller. So neither of which I can actually name, but yeah, all of that, there's always like several projects in various stages of
Well, and
development.
most of the time the name changes anyway over time.
Exactly. I've had a couple of name changes already on these projects, but
yeah. Well, so I'm assuming once you're able to talk about it, you'll put it out there on social media. So where can we find you on social media?
Yes, well, I'm Blue Alston, Blou Alston. That's my college nickname, Blue. And
That's a
that's
good nickname.
it's kind of sweet. It's kind of
Yeah, I
sweet.
like
And
that.
so I used to have very red hair. And so Australians tend to call people with red hair blue.
That's odd, but I like it.
Yeah. But then so that's my Instagram, and yeah, that's probably the best place to find me.
Yeah, it comes right up. I saw Melanie Zanetti was following you. So
Yeah, she's a friend of mine, we're both from Brisbane in Queensland.
yeah.
That's where they make Bluey.
Yeah, she's
So,
talented, not just voice actress. She's a really good actress.
oh yes, she really is, and I really hope to work with her
Yeah.
soon. So
I was lucky enough to talk to her a few years ago. We're fairly
yeah,
new as a podcast, and that's still our most watched episode. Bluey is so popular.
it's huge. It's the biggest show in the world.
Yeah, it is good. Like I watch it with my grandkids, and it's really good. And she's amazing on there.
Oh yeah, it's very good. It's really good. I can remember, I'll just tell you a quick story about Bluey. I can remember when they had their first season out and it was released in Australia. And all of these siblings I've been telling you about, they've all had children. So we were all together, and they were trying, and then Bluey came on TV. And so all the kids were getting ready to do it. And the whole family, like about 20 of us, were all standing up going, Mom, Dad, bingo, he did it. Oh my God. And it was, and I just went, this is gold. This is going to be coloring books. This is going to be stuffed toys. And then not long after that, I had a meeting at Ludo, which is the company that makes the show. And so I walked in, there's like a cardboard cutout of Bluey, and I'm like taking a photo to send to my family, to all the little fans. And then I went up and they're saying, Louise, wow, you work in film. And I'm just going, they don't even know.
Right.
They don't know what they have. This is going to be huge.
It's going to be big.
So I always like to tell the story that I knew even before they knew that it was going to be huge. But really, it was like my nieces and nephews who knew.
That's right. Well, yeah. Once you see how a child reacts to the show, you know it's going to be good. I mean, When they, because kids, they don't lie. They're going to
Mm,
tell, they're either going to tell you they love it, or just show you that they love it, or the opposite. If they
it's
don't
true.
like something, you're going to know that too.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, Louise, thank you so much. This has been the best. You got to come back, when you get the next
Oh, I'd
project
love
ready.
to.
Yeah, you
I'd
got to
love
come back.
to.
We'll do it a little later in the day. You don't need to be getting up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted to take the first time that you had offered, and I went, I'll go then. I'll get up. I don't even mind. So
But at least you're getting an early start to the day.
yeah, well, I'm really on Pacific time anyway,
Yeah, you're
so
still adjusting, trying to get your hours straight. I get it.
it's like I'm sometimes I find myself being bi-coastal, but the bi-coastal is like across the Pacific.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of a
So
hike.
you just gotta roll with it. I just roll with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Louise. And definitely let's do it again. Whenever you're ready, just reach out. We'll get you back on.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Hold on
All right
one
then.
second. All right. So that was the talented director, Louise Alston. Hope you enjoyed that. Definitely help support her. Check out her new film, My Husband's Seven Wives. It's on Lifetime right now. If you're a Lifetime fan, you'll enjoy this one. It's really good. I think you'll really like it. She's also got a couple other ones that come out this month. The Wedding in the Hamptons. And let's see, there was one other, Three Dates to Forever. Both of those will be coming out. So keep an eye out for those as well. Louise talked a little bit about the bad car wreck she was in when she was in her 20s. I can sympathize with that. I had my terrible car wreck 10 years ago next month. And it's, I think the worst part about the wreck's not the actual wreck, it's the recovery. And she talked about it was about 5 years of recovery for her. Mine wasn't quite that bad, but it was a couple. I went I'd say probably a good 2 years before I started to feel like myself again. And you eventually kind of rehab to the point that you move past the injury. So, I've got I got some metal that they had to put inside of me to hold everything together, but I don't really notice that. I struggle a little bit reaching behind my back sometimes, but otherwise, uh, I've gotten past that. But it's been 10 years, so I get that. Those type of accidents can sometimes be motivating in that they kind of push you to not waste time and to get out there and really try to accomplish what you can, because we're not promised much time here anyway. So you want to take advantage of the time that you have. Louise was terrific. Really enjoyed that one. Hope you did as well. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you. Welcome. So glad that you're here. Love to have your support, and it's easy to do. It's free. If you prefer to watch, our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please just subscribe. Really helps us out. If you're a listener, wherever you're listening to your podcast at, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. You can find all of our episodes. I think today we're putting out episode 730. You can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there as well. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to IMDb, imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, you know, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.